Good morning guys, welcome back to another video. Today I will take you through a full day of eating on a rest day. The macros are slightly different, like I said. The calories are slightly lower because I'm not training, so it's less need for the calories or carbohydrates in particular. Protein's the same, fats are 5 grams higher just to allow me to have a few more essential fatty acids during the diet when they're at risk of being too low. So there's 55 grams of fat, 220 grams of protein, and I think 250 grams of carb, but I'll put them here if I'm wrong. Some people do go a lot more aggressive with that difference between the training day and the rest day macros, because while you're not training, why not, dig into the deficit, make fat loss a little bit faster. For me, because sometimes in the week I train first thing in the morning, literally at 5 o'clock when I first wake up on an empty stomach with a bit of intra. For me, it makes sense just to have a few more carbs on them rest days, just in case they need to be my pre-workout fuel. So my expenditure targets are the same. Cardio is just twice a week for 20 minutes, but steps are 10,000 a day. So I'm starting now quite early. Faye was working it, well, we woke up at 5 o'clock, so Faye's working now at 6. So if I can, and it's not raining in the UK, which it usually is, I'll do my steps outdoors. I'll get about 3,000 or 4,000 boxed off now. I'll get home, have meal 1, and then get my next 3 meals ready for the day. When I'm working, they're usually 10, 11-hour shifts. So I'll have 3 meals there, and then 1 meal when I get home, which if Faye's off, I will have with her, and if not, I'll have my oatmeal. So keep it nice and simple. Faye's working this morning, so we'll have a meal together probably. I'm thinking like maybe haddock or something. We haven't had fish in ages, so we'll see. If not, I'll have salmon actually. Well, I'll have a think. Meal 2 is a whey shake, which is like mid-morning. So if I don't record that, that's what I'm having. Meal 3 and 4 are meals that I prepare yesterday in advance, so I prepare for 4 days, because luckily I can work 4 days in a row for the week, so I don't have to think about freezing meals. Meal 3 is a hot meal that I'll stick in the microwave. Meal 4, I'll have whenever I can before I finish work, if I can. If not, I'll have it on the way home. I'll only have it if I have admin time to do so, so I'll try and record it if I can. As always, I had 1.5 litres of water this morning with 7 grams of hydroflow. People have been asking if that's the best hydration. Doesn't really matter. They're all very, very similar. It's just the one I have because it's the cheapest one I can find with still good quality. I had a coffee. That's it. I'll have 1 or 2 more coffees today max. I usually have 1 or 2 in an off season on a rest day, 2 or 3 in a deficit. Completely forgot the word then. So yeah, 2 or 3 on a rest day if I need them. So we'll see. So guys, we're back from our walk. I actually ended up doing 5,000 steps because our road, we live on a mountain and it's great, but then sometimes they do roadworks, and when they do, they close the road. So they close the road off for today. So I've had to walk up from the bottom of the hill as well. So extra steps at least. I just need to make sure I leave for work early, otherwise obviously I'll be late. So the first couple of meals on a rest day, and any day that I'm not training in the morning, are actually quite low in carb or lower in carb. So the last video you saw was a training day on a weekend. So I train after meal 1, which was a bit of a higher carb meal. In the week, if I'm not training first thing, I'll train in the evening at like 6:30. So on them days and rest days, I actually keep my earlier meals, so meal 1 and 2, quite lower on carb. So meal 1 today, as you can see here, is 4 eggs, 2 egg whites and a piece of sourdough toast. Now in my off season, that was 3 pieces of sourdough toast, 5 eggs. And I've also got, actually, before I forget, got this sauerkraut here, which is from Asda. You can get it in any shop really. It's kimchi, sorry. It's very, very nice. Well, it's as nice as kimchi or sauerkraut can get. I say sauerkraut, it's not sauerkraut, it's kimchi. But sauerkraut's nice too. I had that on the side. I don't have it on top because I think it's a bit minging with eggs. So I literally had 25 grams of that separately. If you do start introducing fermented foods, which you really should, start on the lower end, because I went straight in at 50 grams with that. My stomach was not very happy with it, so I'm working back up now to 50 grams, but 25 today. Like I said, my next meal, which I might not show you because I'll be in work, is a whey shake. So it's 45 grams of whey. I'm not using before. I'm using like an old one that I've got that's quite cheap because it's not very nice. I'd rather just get it out of the way in a shake as opposed to making it into a cake or a meal like I do with my other wheys. I'll probably also grab a coffee on the way to work because there's a Starbucks on the way. And I've got a few free drinks. So I had like no stars. That's the reward system they use here in the UK in Starbucks. And then I bought a drink and then I ended up with like 600 stars. So I think she put like a wrong thing on the till. So I've got a few free drinks now. So meal number 2 was just a whey shake in the end. I couldn't record it, and well, it's 45 grams of whey, so it's not the most exciting meal anyway. I'll put the macros for this third meal and that second meal here and here. This next meal is a bit more exciting. I make it in advance. It's literally, I'm having to use my phone at the moment. We've got rice, 60 grams. We've got beef mince, we've got beans, onion, garlic, salsa, and like a cumin powder as well. In the off season, this was the exact same meal, but the quantities obviously changed. So the rice went down from a total of 150 grams raw weight, and now it's 60 grams. So a bit of a change, but this meal is never really around the workout. It's either like my post workout meal or like my pre-workout meal. So it's never really peri-workout window. I'll actually stick that in the microwave and work for like a couple of minutes as well. You can have it cold because the rice is still cold, but the downside to rice when it goes cold is it gets really hard. and you can't mix it as well. So I'll have it warm if I can. If there's a queue, obviously, for the microwave, then I obviously won't use it. With this meal, once I've heated it up, I'll actually get like half an hour where I'll always get my steps in. So if you're struggling to get your steps in and you work an office job or a job like myself, when you're quite sedentary most of the day, then get your steps in when you can. So before work, you obviously saw that I got many steps in for the morning walk, got 5,000 steps in. And then now, during my lunch, I'll get at least another 2,000 steps in. I'll walk whilst I eat. If you're in a rush for lunch and you don't have access to hot like facilities like a microwave, then you can always make sandwiches. There's always things you can make, and there's always steps you can get. I will hit my 10,000 step goal way before finishing work, which is nice. And if I ever don't, because I'm super busy, then I will go for a walk with Faye in the evening. But tonight, that probably won't be needed. So yeah, I'll catch you guys for meal number 4. So meal number 4 is in here. This is the cool bag I use. I've used it. Well, I've had it from Amazon for, it's got to be at least 2 years. It's like £15. It's probably still less than like 20 quid. It's an absolute must if you have a lot of meals, if you're a bodybuilder, which is a skier bowl. It's very similar to the one you saw in the last video. So it's all the ingredients are here. It's got more peanut butter, less oats, and a bit of honey in it, which is, well, in comparison to the previous videos, a skier bowl that you saw there. And then I'll have my last meal with Faye in the evening, and it'll give us a couple of hours to chill together. So that's the benefit of my new shift pattern. At first, it was quite a difference, 11-hour shifts compared to like an 8-hour work day, but it gives me the extra day off, which I love, and I can record and I can do my own thing, a bit of coaching. So it's really good for me. But it does require that I have to bring 3 meals to work as opposed to just the 1. So it takes a bit of getting used to, but it's definitely worth it because it gives me that time, extra time, if that makes sense, less traveling, that sort of thing on my Mondays. So anyway, I'll catch you guys for meal number 5. So guys, done with work now. This is the first night where I've come out of work and it's pretty dark. My headlights are on full. It's almost dark, but I think the camera will make it look lighter than it is actually. So that'll show me a bit. There's 3 things that I want to cover. 1, I didn't get a Starbucks coffee in the end. I didn't have time because obviously I had to walk down to my car to get to work. So I had to get a work coffee from the coffee machine, which is okay, but I'm not the biggest fan of Starbucks. Starbucks is like all right. I think it's massively overpriced. The one in work is worse than Starbucks. So it's one of them where it's like, I was looking forward to my Starbucks. Those of you that are dieting know like how much coffee becomes like your best friend. You just start to like really enjoy the taste of it. And you do it in off season, but there's something about dieting where, I don't know, I enjoy dieting just for the sake of, the biggest benefits are you just start loving the taste of coffee, and you love coffee and food. Like you start loving food. Whereas towards the end of an off season, like, yes, food's nice, but you don't really care. Like Faye will be like, oh, let's go out for a takeaway, or let's get a meal, or I've made these brownies like 2 weeks ago now. And you're like, yeah, that's pretty cool. You don't really care. Like, they're nice, but you'd forget to eat them if they weren't there. Whereas in a diet, like food's a bit more at the forefront. Definitely nowhere near the level of like a prep or a deep diet where you're like massively food focused. I'm definitely nowhere near food focused. I don't really think about it, but when I'm sitting there with a meal, I enjoy the taste of it as opposed to thinking, how am I going to finish this meal? So anyway, the coffee was the one thing I wanted to mention. The other thing was that yogurt meal was absolutely amazing, and that's a perfect example of how food starts tasting nicer. I started dreading them yogurt meals towards the end of my off season. Like I had to stop having them and I'd replace them with other meals, usually like a savoury meal like beef and rice. I just couldn't stomach it for a while. And then within 2 weeks of dieting, I now look forward to that yogurt meal. The oats have become quite stodgy overnight in the fridge, and I now enjoy that again. So the third thing I wanted to mention was similar to what I've just kind of been saying, is dieting is so easy. It's as easy as you make it. People struggle with dieting because they make it too hard. It's so easy if you make it easy. So what I mean by that is, in terms of bodybuilding, you want to preserve your muscle, so make sure you're having 3 to 5 protein servings per day, spread across nice and evenly. Ideally 4 or 5 is better. And the most important thing, which I covered in an Instagram post the other day, or Instagram story, I can't remember now, is the importance of training. Like training is everything. In an off season, if you're not progressing your training, then you're not growing. But in a diet, if you're not maintaining your performance, then you will lose muscle. So obviously it's some nuance to that. Losing a bit of strength here and there is part of the process. You're a lighter person, but you really shouldn't be losing like strength week to week. A lot of it is in here. It's all in your head. Like if you go into the gym knowing that you're not going to lose any strength, knowing that you're going to match everything in terms of performance, then you will do exactly that. So when I first went to diets when I was a bit younger, I fell victim to this a little bit. I'd get a little bit more tired in a diet phase compared to an off season or gaining phase, and I'd think, oh my god, my training's suffering, and it wasn't. It was because I was a bit weaker mentally. And then I reduced volume, which is a good strategy. So if you're like losing strength in the gym, reduce volume, that's absolutely fine. It makes perfect sense. But a lot of the time people are pulling that trigger way too soon. They don't need to reduce volume, they need to train harder. So at some point you might need to reduce volume, but a lot of the time just train harder. So looking back to when I was younger, that's exactly what I needed to like do, just train harder. I was reducing volume way too soon. Get to the end of the set, I think
that was like true failure. And it wasn't. Like, I had more in me, and like, you've just really got to absolutely send. Do not let yourself get weak, and you won't get weak unless you're within 5-10 pounds of stage weight and losing weight quite quickly. You really shouldn't lose that much strength. Yes, towards the end of a prep you will, but any mini cut, any diet where you'll end above 10 pounds of stage weight, you really shouldn't lose much strength, if any, at all. You know, my last diet, I lost 20 pounds in the mini cut, and I think my shoulder press went down 1.25 kg per side for max reps. So if anything, my relative strength, so the weight I was lifting in comparison to my body weight, was higher. But likewise, you know, you also want to make sure you're getting good form and good execution. Don't sacrifice that in order to chase load. But basically what I'm saying is just chase gym performance. Like, just don't let yourself get weak. It's as simple as that. And it's the same with the diet. When I say dieting is easy, yes, you'll get hungry. Yes, well, it's fair. For the first 2 or 3 days, you'll get really hungry. And then after that, it kind of goes for a few weeks as long as you stick to similar foods. But it's as easy as you make it. If you're there trying to macro match every single meal and you haven't meal prepped and you're just trying to think constantly about what your next meal is going to be, and you're hyperfixating on food, even healthy food. It doesn't have to be junk food and crisps and chocolate and cakes. Even if you're hyperfixating on like certain recipes that you're thinking of having for dinner, there's like a certain chicken salad or whatever this healthy recipe is, that is fixating on food, and that is just going to drive food focus unnecessarily through the roof. So what you got to realize is, in a diet that's quite aggressive, like a mini cut, or towards the end of a long diet, or a diet when you're super lean, you're just not going to be satisfied when you eat. You're going to be hungry, then you're going to eat, and you're going to be slightly less hungry, and you're going to just want more of what you have been having. So accept that. Once you accept that, hunger is so much easier. Like, it's part of the process. It means you're losing weight. It's a good thing. It's fine. And thirdly, on that point, stop telling everyone that you know, your family and friends, that you're dieting, and that it's really hard. Say, oh, you know, I'm dieting, I can't have that browning. Oh God, you're so brave, you're so tough. Oh God, you're so disciplined. Stop making it out like it's hard. You choose to do this, especially with bodybuilding. Like, you choose to go into these diet phases. So it's as hard as you make it. This diet I'm doing now, because I'm so busy with work, and on my days off, I'm, you know, filming more, I'm doing more coaching, I'm keeping myself nice and busy. And in my spare time, I'm just obsessing over spending time with Faye, even if that's just playing like a video game or watching a movie. Like, I'm more fixated on that and spending that time together, that I'm just too busy to think about food. So even now in work, my yogurt meal, I could have had it towards the end of my shift if I had the time on my admin time, but I was so busy with the admin that I forgot to have it. And that's me today on the Thursday, where I have felt, you know, a little bit of lightheadedness you get within a diet where, you know, it's been a while since you've had a good carb meal and you get a little bit lightheaded, a little bit agitated. I've had that today, but even with that, I'm so busy, I don't think about eating. Eating and hunger should be the least of your problems in a diet. Anyway, I'm just waffling now. Like, I find it's one of the things that just annoys me. Like, within 2 or 3 weeks of someone dieting, and they're telling me how hungry they are and how they've fallen off their diet and all these things, and like how they're, you know, super weak in the gym and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you shouldn't be. Like, you know, you've got 20, 30, 40 pounds of fat on your body. There's no reason why you're in a massive, big energy deprived state. That's like 2,000 calories into a deficit and maintenance, or deep into a contest prep. You know, most of the symptoms are just a little bit over. Just, it's easy. Get over it. It's meant to be hard.
So guys, like I said, we'll be having haddock for dinner. It's actually a bit late, it's 7:30. I usually have this meal at 7, so by the time I eat it, it's probably gonna be closer to 8 o'clock, but it's one of them things. As long as you sleep well and you digest it well enough for bed, don't overstress these sorts of things. Normally we have this meal with like air fried chips, so we literally just get like potatoes, peel them, chop them, parboil them for like 5-10 minutes, and then stick them in the air fryer, and they're amazing. But we haven't got the time in the week to do that. So in the week, we literally use, I don't know if it'll focus on this, we've got these here. They are buttery and herby potatoes from Asda. They are pretty good. You're meant to microwave them. I don't do that because A, they're not very nice in the microwave, and B, I don't know, there's something about microwaving plastic. Like, Tupperware's one thing which I don't like to do. I try my best to use glass when I can, but when I'm microwaving like this sort of plastic and it's like 6 minutes, I just feel like it can't be good for you. So I literally just get them all out, I chop them all up. The only thing to watch with this, if I was in prep, I probably wouldn't use these. I'd probably like make my own version, because the fat content is apparently 3.2 grams for the whole thing. I just believe it's a bit more. So I tend to add like a bit of olive oil on my FitnessPal without actually adding them to the chips or the potatoes. And what I do, I literally just dice them all, as you've seen here. I throw them in the air fryer, in a Ninja air fryer, in case those of you that are wondering. And I do it at 200 degrees on air fryer setting. Probably takes about 20 minutes. I literally go until they're ready. Because this is what I mean by the 3.2 grams of fat. That's the thing of butter you get in it. So it's not focusing. It's quite a lot of butter. But by the time that melts, it'll melt into the air fry basket, and then obviously as I like flip the potatoes, it'll just cover them quite nicely. With the broccoli, I use 10 stem broccoli, and normally what I do is I parboil it. I like to parboil things, and then I'll literally is it blanch? I think it's called blanching. I'll boil it for like 3 minutes, and then I will stick it in like a frying pan on boiling hot for, again, about 3 minutes with garlic and lemon and olive oil. But I won't be doing that today because A, time, and B, I don't really want to have the extra olive oil when I've got this butter here, and I'm adding like an extra few grams of fat for that. So at the moment I'm having this meal it'll probably be quite low on carb compared to what I usually have. So I will have it, because obviously I can't like weigh my own potatoes, I'm just having a packet. So I'll probably have like an apple if I have calories left over. I also will have dark chocolate if I have fats left over. What I might do actually is have like 10-15 grams of dark chocolate and add 5 grams of dark chocolate to compensate for the butter, or something like that. I'm not prepping this year. Is an extra couple of grams here and there going to make a difference? Obviously it really won't. My calorie deficit is also like 1,000 calories a day, so I think having an extra 20 calories here and there really isn't going to make much difference. It should look a bit like this. Oh, it's not focusing. There we go. So they're all in there. The butter's obviously right in the middle there. You can basically see it. It's camouflaged. You're cooking with Ben. So turn it on there. Click number 2, air fry. Do 25 minutes, but I doubt it'll take longer than that. And obviously they're all in there. When it's got about 10 minutes left, I throw the haddock in. So the haddock I've got is here. Faye will only have like half a fillet because I'll have 1.5. Faye's not the biggest fish fan, so she'll have something else on the side. But what I'll have is this haddock here. I haven't tried it before. I only opened it to make sure it wasn't like super smelly. And it smells okay, I think. I don't really know with haddock. It's 2 days in date. And the broccoli, which I haven't, we got it a few days ago. So the 10 cent broccoli, probably rushed in the microphone. 10 cent broccoli is, I'll probably have a whole packet of that and then make some more for Faye. What I'll also do is I'll throw that haddock in the air fryer again for about 12 minutes, 180, 200 degrees, we'll see. Add a bit of lemon, a bit of salt, and just see how it comes out. So guys, the final product, it did look quite nice, and then I made it look a lot worse. If I show you it now. So, as you can see here, the haddock's here, it's all like mashed up. I basically tried to break it up so that Faye could have half, and then it looked bad, so I wanted to make it look good for the video, and now it looks even worse. So I'm only having 1.5 of them, Faye's having the other one. There's the potatoes. I don't know how good they look on camera, but they are very, very, very nice. I like them quite overly done. Then we've got the broccoli here, which, well, broccoli's broccoli. Broccoli's nice. This is much better than normal broccoli. And then I pull it with lemon and garlic on the sea bass, the haddock, and then lemon and salt on the broccoli, and then a bit more salt on the actual chips as well. And then I've also got, as you probably already saw in the cow, and I've also got the Azazone dark chocolate. Nowhere near as nice as the co-op one. After preaching about the co-op one, I'm having to, live with this one. And then an apple there, which is purely for, well, show purposes. Because I actually had an apple whilst waiting for this meal to cook because I was starving. Faye's still not home yet. She said she'll be home in a couple of minutes, so I'm hoping she's home soon because hers is sitting in the microwave waiting. Well, minus the fish, which I'll give her now. But I'm going to get everything ready so I can start having this because, as you can tell, I'm pretty tired after a long day of work and I'm pretty hungry. So, guys, it's the next day. It's first thing in the morning. It's pitch black, so I hope you can see me. It should be okay. It's on my phone. The haddock meal was by far the worst meal I think I've ever had in a diet. I almost didn't finish. I was this close to throwing up. I never throw up, so I wouldn't recommend it. I possibly overcooked the haddock a little bit, but it was just vile either way. And then the house still stinks this morning, so I won't have that again. But anyway, that is the full day of eating on a rest day. My food will be staying the same this weekend, but I imagine it'll be going down by the following weekend. So not the next video, the one after that. I'll probably have a bit of a food reduction, not much, just enough to keep the ball rolling. But at the moment my weight's dropping off like it should be. I kind of stagnate for a week and then it drops a big whoosh, but that's normal for a lot of people. If there's anything in particular you want to see, just let me know in the comments below or DM me on Instagram like a lot of you do. But for now, like, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.